how you can build a 3D custom configurator with AI. I want to show you this today, and we will do it with Visual Studio Code and Claude Code. This is the best things that we can do to achieve the best result possible. And as you can see here from like the screen and what you're watching right now, so I will teach you how to do it, how you can then use this template to build your configurator. And also in the link below, I attach the configurator template and the Claude Code setup that I use to create 3D custom configurators. So first of all, we need Visual Studio Code. Download your version, go to go.visualstudio.com download, and download your version. In this case, I have Mac, I already Visual Studio downloaded. And then, of course, you need the Anthropic Cloud plan. What I'm using for the purpose of this video is a Max 5 plan, so $100 per month. You can be just fine for $17 per month, and it will work. So first of all, download Visual Studio. And then once you download Visual Studio, if you don't have, go to subscribe to Cloud. Once you subscribe to Cloud and yet downloaded Visual Studio, you can go to the extension and install the Claude Code for VS Code extension and then access. Another thing to do before to build your configurator project is to create a folder on your computer. So just, create a folder and name it maybe as you want. YouTube configurator, for example. And you're ready to go. Once you're there, open Visual Studio, open your folder. So going to File, Open Folder, open that folder, and you are ready to go in Visual Studio. Now, what you have to do? First of all, I already here set up all my cloud, and then I have all my GLB models for this case. And this is very important to set up Cloud in the right way, so it will not commit let's say, will commit less errors, and it will all the time have the knowledge needed to complete the configurator, and it will consume less tokens. So I have this setup. You can download again in the link with the link below. And once you're ready to start your configurator, well, we can go here to the cloud and start a new session. So it will open the cloud machine. We can chat with it, so we will not touch code at all in this example. And we want to give him instruction. So because I like more like we speak faster than we write, then I like to talk, and I have an app, an extension for that. You can write. That's not a problem for it. The first thing that I advise before we start with the configuration, because we have the GLB models here with the Claude Code, and the best thing to do is to go in plan mode and ask him to plan what you're going to do. So in this case, for example, I can say, so I want to build a 3D configurator for this picnic table. You can see the GLB models in the folder GLB models. And this has to be a configurator built with 3JS. Please help me plan how we can build this and all the steps. So send your prompt and it will start to plan. Of course, I believe it will ask you a question before to do that. Another thing that we need is to create a design. So in this case, this is amazing. We can also do it with AI without hiring a design. We can go to stitchwithgoogle.com and you can create a design here with a prompt. So in this case, I think I have already an account and some project that I wanted to develop. So I did this project as an example, and here what we can do is basically download our design. So I believe that if I select all of this, let me zoom out. So if I select all of this, I can directly export all the files and it will give me a design MD. So in this case, I'm going to save it. As you can see, I save it and I will open the folder here. So let me check. So I have here all the files, as you can see, and I can upload this in all the configurator. So for example, I have here design MD. And actually, I'm going to copy this one in the configurator. So I'm going actually to read to copy here. Okay. So Claude is still thinking about the plan. And I want to see this, what it will give me. So for now, I will skip this part. So actually, before to finalize the plan, it's giving me few questions, which is like very useful. And I advise you to answer the best way possible, like according what you have in your mind also. So for example, there are 4 questions here, as you can see. One is regarding the assets. So it's like the modeler each uncompressed should include an asset compression. We can say yes, no, or I handle the assets. It's actually depending on your assets, and I think we can include compression. I don't know if this will transform the model well or not. So in this case, actually I might skip this and maybe we can add later. Then configuration options. What are the configuration options? So beam type, size, wood finish, length, and so on. So I'll see let's say the steps are configuring the length, then the width of the table based on the length. So there will be also, I think, conditional visibility options, and then the colors of the beams. So this is a pretty simple actually as a configurator, but you can add more things, more steps. Should all 14 models variants be loadable, or should we start with a subset? So let's see, and we can do, let's start small, expand later. I like this. So we can test faster, easier. Are the things that would texture rigid? No, they are wood texture. They should be, I think, what I remember. So now it will go on and it will start to write our plan. Another thing, before to go on, what I like to do is to actually initialize this on GitHub. You can do it or not do it. I like it to have like kind of uh, backup, so I can actually publish, for example, to a private GitHub repository and insert all of this. I will actually exclude the GLB models and this store, and it will start initialize the repository. So now I have the repository, the Cloud Code as the context, and now we will have like our file, our plan. It took so long because I gave him a lot of rules, skills that he can use, settings, agents. And as you can see now, we have our plan. This is our plan. You can, of course, give it a read, and here, for example, there are some unresolved questions. So, for example, will be the phase 1, the project scaffolding with Next.js, install the dependencies, create the structures, which is like useful, like create the basics, or otherwise the project will like go down. Then table length, table width, okay, state management, product options, etc. Phase 3, 3D infrastructure, GPU, canvas wrapper, scene setup, camera control, share components. This is like, here he like put this because I gave it a lot of rules that he has to follow based on the fast loading 3D configurators, the model loading, the texture swapping, and then the configurator UI. So I will say him, I will unresolved questions, file to start with. Yes, I think. So the file to start with are the 3 beams 250, 3 beams 300, and 3 beams 350, and then the version of 4 beam 250, 4 beam 300, and 4 beam 350. And then is there a price display? Yes. Let's use price display and add to cart button as a CTA. And then will compress models keep same file names. You can keep same file names. Here is my message. So now it will edit the plan accordingly, and then we can start. I will skip this. Okay, it edited the plan. Now we can auto accept it or manually print the edits. I like to see what he will do, so I will auto accept all the things. Now, if we want to see actually what he's doing, we can open our Google Chrome tab to see what he will build. After, he will actually import the necessary packages. So I will allow this. Actually, I will do bypass permission, so it should like go directly and without asking me all the permission. And as you can see, it started to import our package. So now is like proceeding and creating all the pages that we need. So I think we can go again to terminal and go npm run dev. It will give us a localhost link. We should open here, and we actually will be able to see what is going on. Is it like loading? It's on Next.js, of course. Now it's resolving all this issue, but in a while he's like building. So as you can see, phase 2 is done, and actually few minutes. So this is incredible. Like you can have your own 3D configurators ready in a day if you're already the 3D models. Can believe like it's incredible. So now phase 4 is model loading and texture swapping. And then it will start to build the UI. Here still we have the error. We can correct. We can tell him to correct later. But in a while is developing all the infrastructure, and phase 4 already done actually. So phase 5 starting. This is possible because first of all we add a plan, and without a plan it's actually becoming confusing. So he's following all the plan. And second, we have all already the files, the design, everything that he needs to develop these 3D configurators. For now, I think it's editing the light, but anyway, that this is all. You see, we have here the preview. That's cool. It's really nice. Now we have 3D not available. It's probably because I still to download the insert the models. But as you can see, we have here the textures, the width, loading the 3D model. That's not the results that we want for the materials and all the stuff. But I can see that, for example, is changing the scene very fast. And the material loading also is actually good. So we have just to fix this. I don't like the camera rotating all the time. And it actually finished. Like, as you can see, there is only phase 6 to finish, and we can actually see. So what we can do here is, okay, we actually have to polish this and increase the we had to do the progressive enhancement. So what we still have to do, first of all, you applied the materials to everything, and we should apply the materials only to the beam meshes. And a second thing is remove the auto-rotating camera, which I do not like. So now I will apply this edit and I will show you what actually we'll have as a result. So we have our model, and as you can see, you can still like processes, continue to edit. And because, for example, here, like I would edit the light still, but the result is very impressive. And we did this like in maybe less than half an hour. You can change the model. As you can see, it's pretty fast to load also the variation of the beams once it's actually loaded. Because when you see this, like that sometime the screen is still like white, like for example, it's because the model wasn't loaded before for optimization of the RAM. But once it's loaded, actually load very fast. Once it's loaded, the model can actually be viewed very, very fast. So this is our 3D configurator. We can add more things actually. For example, some button for the zoom if your target is more like not tech savvy. Add this step by step. Like you can actually vary depending on your product and your 3D configurators. The next step that then you do after like you configure all of this is to publish your configurator. So how you can publish your configurator? To publish your configurator, you have to build all of this. So once you're in your terminal and we can start a new session, again, plus we just have to do npm run build. So now it's building for production your configurator, and here what I would do. Of course, we are missing some step here because you should, like, for example, if you're using this for your e-commerce, you should be able, to set the price. We set the price here. As you can see, the price is actually changing when I change the model, the length, the width. And another thing is to connect it to your e-commerce. And to connect to your e-commerce, you need to develop, for example, app for Shopify, a custom app. It's very easy today. Or like a WooCommerce plugin or a custom integration for the other e-commerce like Salesforce, Wix Commerce, etc. And of course, if you want this, like if you want the Claude Code setup and this configurator template, I'm ready to give you here a link below. But let's continue. And so we want to build this, and I can ask always Cloud. I want now to publish this, and I can know how to do it, but like you can ask, like for example, based on your provider, what we can do. So for example, if I want to use Cloudflare as a provider, I want to know, I want now to publish this on Cloudflare. Please tell me what to do and build the project. So now he will tell me what to do, and we can just execute what he will say, and we'll have our configurator live. Of course, you need to connect to your e-commerce, a Shopify custom app, or a WooCommerce plugin, or like custom configuration for Salesforce Commerce, Wix Commerce, and so on. So now it's saying, like, since this is a fully client-side app, the simplest path to start the export to Cloud page is editing a file, and now is building. Build success. Cloud page handles caching. So the project weighed 120 megabytes because we didn't compress the models before. And now the easiest thing to do is to drag the out folder to the page.deb. So we're going to Cloudflare. You go to worker and page and create a new project. So in this case, I have the YouTube configurator here. And what we want to do is to take actually our configurator, our folder. We can go to our folder here in YouTube configurator and take this folder here and load it. So based on your provider, it will be different options. So I advise actually to ask Claude, and then you can follow step by step. It's very easy. Now it's building, and we will see then our project completed. I will skip this part. So the deploy was successful. Let's see, deploy the website, and now we have our link that we can use to like host. Okay, there is an error. There is an error here. Let's see. Why? Okay, actually, so let's view the link. It's loading our configurator. We can still optimize the scene. Like, as I told you, like the models are very heavy. We should optimize them. Usually it's better to go under 10 megabytes per model. But as you can see, like this is like very, very smooth configurator. We can change, the model will load, and Another best practice that we can do, because for example, in this case, we are loading the model through our configurate the Cloudflare pages, but we can host on the 3 models on the servers like Cloudflare F2, AWS, Azure, and Google, Firebase, all of these services, and then connect your configurator. So this is actually, because as you can see, it's taking a while to load the models because we use this process. So I strongly recommend to use the models on the on a website, on hosting, like on R2, on Cloudflare, for example. It will load much faster than this and optimize, of course, the model. So this is the final result. As you can see, we could add to the cart if this will be connected. The price is changing, the colors are changing. You can personalize the configurator as much as you want. You just need to ask Cloud what you need and what you want to do for your configurator. So again, if you want the template, of course, without my models and the Cloud Code setup that I use, click the link below, and I'll see you in the next video.